Hello, YouTube people. Vlog number 8 of 10 on day 10. Trying to catch up. And as I promised before, I am going to try to take on my Nemesis song, which is the Satriani tune. Always with me, always with you. I'm fiddling with my pedals. Sorry. Hold on a second. I got these things all not on a board, just sitting on the rug here, and some are sticking to the rug because they have Velcro and some are not. Anyhow, so I want to show you guys kind of my method of learning music and my method of uh, playing guitar. Anyway, it's not like a method or something, right? So since I was a kid, I gravitated toward the piano. It was always there. My mom played it when I was even in utero, so I think that had something to do with me loving the sound of that thing. And so I'd always play that upright that was in the house. And my grandmother also had a piano in the house and a little organ later when they got rid of the big piano. And that organ was cool because it had arpeggiating kind of left hand stuff going on in different modes. I didn't even know what the little M and the big M and all that stuff meant. But I kind of, understood how it sounded and was able to put it together. I used to go to this Hungarian folk and I guess cultural center or club called the St. Stephen's Club back when I was a kid, because my grandparents were heavily involved in that here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And at that piano that was there, I used to, we'd be there after church for like hours and hours and hours, and so we'd be killing each other, little kids, trying to find something to do. Well, there was a piano there, so I just went to the piano and I was just plucking around the piano, and you can only fit one person basically on that bench, so it was my way of tuning out from all the other kids running around screaming. And then I slowly figured out how to play music, just plucking away at a piano. I had a few lessons playing the accordion when I was a kid because my mom wanted to play accordion, and she got me playing that when she went to lessons. I think it was a handful of lessons, like maybe 3 or 4 or 5. And I learned to play "My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean," which I played with my brother singing, I think, in my third grade elementary school in third grade in Brisbane, California, and he sang it. That was terrible. Anyway, but the bottom line is, I was always playing keyboarded instruments for the most part, and I gravitated toward the guitar later in life, of course, because of rock music. So in the late 70s, I remember the first song that I heard that made me want to play the guitar was Kiss, and it was Ace Frehley's, well-known lick to Detroit Rock City, right? I should play it, but just that sound of that record, that sound of that album, and that song in particular just made me want to pick up the guitar and go like, what is that sound? How do you make that sound? So, but for the most part, I didn't start playing guitar until many, many years later than that. So, I've never been taught on guitar either. I've just picked up what I can by watching players on stage or whatnot. YouTube, I've even paid for some lessons. I haven't had time to really look into much. Robert Baker's, of course, I bought his lessons, so I'll be going through those. I bought Tyler Larson's Music is Win whole packet of lessons, so I'm going to go through those. So I think it might be interesting for me to even post up like how I'm progressing with some of that stuff, just to give you guys like an idea of what those learning programs are like. But I've actually taught a method of music that I call the happy method. It's kind of corny, but I call it the happy method because it's really hear and play instruments. So HAPI, happy. And it's not, by accident I came up with that acronym for musical teaching, because I think a lot of music is taught wrong. They teach you all this stuff that just bores the heck out of you, makes you not want to play the instrument, or makes you hate playing the instrument. It's like torture, like regular school. It's like that too. It's like this draconian system where you're not really allowed to progress in your own pace, or even, um, in some form that is interesting. So why would you want to play "My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean" on an accordion? I had other songs I wanted to play, other things I was interested in back then. Even though I was like 7 years old, I remember hearing the song on a record player, "My Boyfriend's Back." you're gonna get in trouble. Hey, la dee la. Anyway, yeah. It was a record that the teacher brought in that we could play if we got our English reading and comprehension work done in 3rd grade. So I got it done quick so I can listen to the records. That and other ones too. I remember great records. So not to get off too much off the subject, but the way I learn is I listen for the melody, and I listen for the bass line. I listen for the rhythm. I try to feel the rhythm. So obviously for Always With Me, Always With You is a waltz. Dun 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 dun. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, right? The playing is way off that beat, so bum 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 bum. If I had a metronome on, you'd know what I mean. But it's way off the beat. Bum 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 bum. So it's way off. But it sounds great, right? And it's a great tempo. It's a little faster than the way I was just singing it to you. And it's a really cool melody, and I love, that initial rhythm that he's playing, and then the melody that, he goes into, and of course he just shreds the hell out of that later on in the song, which I'm probably not going to be able to do for another couple years, maybe. We'll see how these old fingers will work. These two, not so good. This one's numb and tingly, and this one's got a little numbness and tingliness due to a workplace injury. And hence I don't play the piano as much. But anyway, so I've got my Black Star HT 20 hooked up, not too loud. This is it clean. Oh, and I was promising to use this guitar, but I can't because I don't have time to restring the damn thing because it's got a Floyd Rose on it, and I gotta get going like in 10 minutes. I gotta get ready for our evening out that we're gonna be going out to. And I'm not Johnny B, and I can't just turn that thing around, put string on it real quick and retune it real quick. So I give up. Oh, Henning Pauly guitar, Henning Pauly shirt, purple pickups, purple shirt, purple LPD pedal. Coming soon. I gotta mess around with it before I throw it up on YouTube without knowing what it sounds like and what I want to do with it. But anyway, I bought the 68 because I want something that kind of classic 68 style Marshall. Sorry about the creaky chair. I think I'm fairly in tune. Alright, so this song has a little bit of something on it, right? So I'm using the Mojo. There's something there, right? I'm in the middle position because I think for that first part of the song it's a more muted kind of. And I've got the Arena, TC Electronics Arena. It's basically a Hall of Fame, but Arena of Fame. I guess Arenas of Fame. I think I'm going to go with a plate. Okay, so just goofing around. I was playing it a little early. I tried to do the video earlier and I had a problem with the phone. So I'm a little better at it now than I was when I first started. But I have not played this song in forever. And I never played it, obviously from the beginning to the end or anything like that. But I want to do this as part of that challenge that Ben Coombs kind of threw up to your Nemesis Song. This is my Nemesis Song. So I'm going to try to figure it out for you guys. So you got to get that mute, right? So I'm plucking it with my finger right now. I should probably use a pick, which I had here a second ago. Sorry. Let's grab another one. I might as well play a pick from my good pal. I wish I could say he's my personal friend, but someday might get to know each other. Know your gear, Phil McKnight. You rule, dude. You got me more and more into this stuff as well. I gotta close this door too because there's some noise going on out there. That's kind of annoying. I think Ladani is steaming her clothing for tonight's show. All right, so I'm getting in a good position where I can step on the pedals properly. Okay, so I'm playing the open D string, right? But I think it sounds better if you're playing it. I think it sounds better when you're playing it on the A string at the 5th fret. Alright, so quickly I figured out I'm playing it with the at the 5th fret on the A string. Then I go to the 2nd fret on the A string, and I fret both the 2nd fret on the A and the D, and then I just play that 4th fret on the D, and then I play the A string open, and then play the 4th and the 5th, right? Now if I could clean up my playing a little bit. So. Swaying kind of waltzy thing going on, and then if I could figure out how to use my looper pedal here. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Oh no, that's wrong. Of course I blow it. I blow it right when I'm it's not even working. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, I'm gonna have to figure that looper pedal out. This is a looper thing that's on the alter ego delay, and I have not looked at the instructions, and I figured it out before, but not before just now. So we're not going to use the looper, so I'm just going to show the first part. Oh, there it goes with a really long delay there. That's funny. So I'm just going to play that part, so I figured that part out, right? So. So, you know, I was also noticing that if you alternate pick rather than just pick down and up, it kind of sounds better. Oops. Obviously. Oh, way too much gain, if you ask me. That's not in the right like positioning. Still trying to figure out Henning's guitar as well. I think he plays it a lot cleaner sounding than that even. It's got a gainy thing, but and it's not as bassy as that. So I'm just guessing right now, right? I'm just trying to figure out that part of the melody, right? So I think that's all I'm going to show right now because I do have to get ready. That's the freak out pedal. All right, thanks you guys for watching. Thanks for watching me brutalize that song. But it was fun. I'm gonna try to get it down. I mean, one day I'm gonna play that song from the beginning to end. And in many ways, that's what music's all about, right? It's about challenging yourself. It's about expressing yourself. It's about letting those creative juices, that creative side of you out. Even something as daunting as a Satriani song, I don't think is impossible. I mean, people can play circles around him, kind of. There are guys out there that, look at, I don't want to say names, but anyway, he's one of my favorites, obviously, but a different kind of style than other players. But, man, bottom line is that I think if you put enough time and energy into it, you can learn this stuff. And I've seen people play with their feet because they don't have hands on guitar better than I play guitar with my hands. So, nothing's impossible, people. Music therapy, labs,